Welcome back to Pleasant Grove High School inside the hallowed halls of Valhalla on this very cold, very snowy winter's evening. I guess it's kind of night. Either way, welcome inside for the first round of the Utah 5A High School Athletics Association State Tournament. Wow, that's a lot to say. As my name is Coleman Keel, I'm excited to be with you today. We are just about ready to begin the national anthem and the starting lineups, so you will hear from me then.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and rockets red flames bursting in that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now let's meet the players first. Our guest from Fremont High School, the head coach is Corey Mulaney. Number 0, junior, Court Duff. Number 12, senior, Cam Campbell. Number 23, sophomore, Easton Hansen. Number 33, senior, Zeb Wetton. And number 50, senior, Zach Pencroft. And now let's meet the Vikings. The head coach, Carson Williams. Number 1, junior guard, 6'3", Preston White. Number 3, senior guard, 6'2", Lionel Johansson. Number 4, senior forward, 6'6", Jackson Brown. Number 5, a junior forward, Oliver Mossman, 6'8". And number 32, junior forward, 6'7", Brennan Blackhead.
Great environment here, waiting for the first round of playoffs to start. Pleasant Grove going against Fremont here in Valhalla, the last game of the season that will be played in this building. Should the Vikings win, they will play on Friday at Orem, and should they lose, obviously this being playoffs, the season is over. Pleasant Grove going against what has been a pretty good Fremont team. They went 7-5 in region, finishing third. Overall, they went 9-14, though, ultimately ending up in this draw. as the tip-off underway, won by the Vikings. Ollie Mossman to Jackson Brown, who loses it out of bounds. The quick turnover from Jackson Brown, not something we're used to seeing for the Vikings. Typically very good at handling the ball, as Pleasant Grove into a bit of a three-quarter court press, more of a light half court. As quick overview of Fremont for anybody that has not seen a game for the Silver Wolves, as that shot in and out. Whistle blows out of bounds again for the Vikings. Forgive me, our score bug was not working for a second, as we quickly remedy that. As I was saying, doing a little bit of research earlier today on the Silver Wolves, two names kept popping up: number 23, Easton Hansen, and number 50, Zach Hancock. Two of the leading scorers, as that three way off, airball out of bounds. Viking basketball off of a good box out from Jackson Brown, not letting number 33, Zeb Wetton possibly get to the ball following the air ball. As not a lot of Silver Wolf fans made the journey down to Pleasant Grove, but the few that are here are making their presence known, mostly the JV team, as that three off the back iron. Brennan Blackett gets the board. Down low, Milo, too hard. Rebound taken away. Zach Hancock, the senior center for the Silver Wolves, thought about the three there. Bad pass almost taken away by Brennan Blackett. Brennan has been dealing with a bit of a leg injury for the latter half of the season. That three, front iron. Brennan has played through it. He dealt with a bit of an illness in the last couple of games. For the Vikings. He appears to be fully healthy, or at the very least willing to push through it for the playoffs, Vikings needing to go 4-0 to potentially be the state champions. Although a tough road does lie ahead of them, as I mentioned earlier. Jackson Brown hits the first three of the night, first three of the playoffs. Pleasant Grove on the board. Now, as I was saying, following this matchup, the winner will play at the home of the Orem Tigers on Friday. And then I believe they will play Wasatch in the quarterfinal, which will be held at the University of Utah. Good defensive play there from number 0, Kurt Duft, causing the tie-up on Milo Johansson. The possession arrow will switch to the Vikings following the jump. Just over 2 minutes into play here. Pleasant Grove only hitting 1 3, doing a pretty good job on defense, not letting up anything deep. That is the first bucket of the night for the Silver Wolves. Zach Hancock down low off the glass. Brennan Blackett back to Preston White. Preston from deep, back iron. And in the hands of, I believe that was number 10, Calvin Cooper for Fremont, which I am just now realizing is misspelt on the score bug. Milo in and out. Preston White, great job with the rebound. Turnaround in. Timeout called by the Vikings. Coach Carson Williams. The first for the Vikings, up 3, just over 3 minutes into the first quarter of the playoffs. Out of the Viking timeout. Quick notes for the 5 on the floor for the Vikings. You have number 1, Preston White, number 3, Milo Johansson, number 4, Jackson Brown, number 32, Brennan Blackett, and number 5, Ollie Mossman. Good combination of size and skill for the Vikings. Jackson Brown, 6'6", Brennan Blackett is a little bit taller. I believe he's 6'7". Corner three, rolled over the top, couldn't fall. Turnaround jumper, Fremont, good. That one coming from number 33, Zeb Wetton. As that pass goes out of bounds and a rogue basketball temporarily ended up on court. But after clearing that out of the way, Jackson into Preston, 6'3" junior, probably the best shooter on the team percentage-wise. Maybe that might go to someone sneaky like a Kyler Jentz or an Ash Palmer from deep. Ollie gets the block there. Oliver Mossman trying to show you a replay of it in live play. Brennan from three, off the right side and out. One quick look at that block. Back to live. Fremont, ball in the hand of Kurt Duft. Guarded by Johansson. Out to Wetton. Down low, Hanson, back to Wetton. Wetton got it to Duft. Duft, down low, Hancock, tried to get it off the glass, couldn't fall. Take two goes. And Fremont takes its first lead of the night, 6-5. Brennan Blackett going against Wetton. Brennan drives and gets fouled. I believe that'll be on the shot, meaning two free throws coming for Brennan Blackett. Foul there going against Zach Hancock. Clearly on the shot, Brennan Blackett at the line, shooting two for Pleasant Grove. Probably the best option you could have at the free throw line. Very consistent from all three levels. As the first one cannot fall. The good old announcer jinx getting the better of Brennan Blackett, as in will come both number 11 Kyler Jentz and number 0 Ashton Palmer. Kyler Jentz, probably one of the most confident basketball players I've ever known. You felt very confident yesterday coming into this matchup about the Vikings' chances, as Brennan will go 1 for 2 from the line and tie it up. Ball down, Zach Hancock, drive, spin, tough fadeaway, airballed it short. Kyler on the drive, looking to find something to do with it. Good defense from number 12, Cam Campbell. Ash Palmer almost loses it out of bounds, guarded by Crew Hampton. Back to Milo, guarded by Duft. Bit of a size mismatch, gets the screen from Jackson. Kyler, miscommunication between Jentz and Palmer. Kyler threw it to where Ashton had been standing in between the paint and the corner right as Ash went to cut to the basket. Both good ideas cannot work at the same time. And that will be a Viking turnover. Silverwolves looking to generate a little bit more offense. Duft off the screen, long two. Wanted a foul. Looked like it got tipped, fell way short. Milo in out. Drive, spin, get stuck. Back out to Brennan, going against Hancock. Brennan hesitates. Milo thought about the three. Back to Brennan, fakes. Brennan drive, spin. Tried for the step through. Hancock, good defense, not biting on the fake. Milo drives, gets bumped by number 23, Easton Hansen. Easton wanting a hook called on Milo, to no avail. The first foul of the night for Easton Hansen. Fremont does not want him to get into foul trouble, especially this early into the night. It would be, in a word, disastrous. Their leading scorer, as Milo Johansson down to Brennan, has the size mismatch, decides not to take it. Milo, wow, I cannot talk today, apparently. Milo, tough rebound, found on the ground before the shot. That foul going to go against number 1 number 1 Luke DeVries, the junior shooting guard, picking up his first foul of the night, already the third on the Silver Wolves. Johansson gets the screen from Brown, takes it back the other way, gets it stripped going up. Fremont forcing the turnover. The drive, Hansen loses it to Brennan, goes behind the back on the fast break, picks it up, somewhat of a Euro. Too hard back iron. Jackson, million spins, gets it poked away. That one looked like it was Zach Hancock. Fremont, good ball movement, better defense. Brennan Blackett getting a hand up, not letting them get the pass into the corner, as that will go out of bounds off of Brennan. Fremont will take it out of bounds. As not as much scoring as I would have expected for the first quarter of a playoff game, as both teams typically averaged around 15 a quarter coming into this matchup. Kyler, tight defense. Fremont gets it to DeVries. Now to Hansen, going against Gents. The probably ideal matchup for both sides. That shot, no good. No call. Good defense, Gents. Blackett missed the shot and a late whistle. That one going to go against, I believe, Zeb Wetton. It is his first of the night. 4 fouls on the Silver Wolves to the Vikings, none. 54 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Probably not going to make a huge difference in that last minute, but it's still a good sign for the Vikings. If you're playing straight up and very disciplined defense, not going to cause a whole lot of foul trouble. As Brennan hits the first one, makes the score 7-6 Vikings. Brennan, take 2 is up and through, and in will come Deacon Christensen, the sophomore forward. Didn't see him a whole lot in the early chunk of the season. He played more in the third quarter of the season, if that makes sense. Didn't see him near the end, and he didn't play before Christmas break. Since then, he's played a decent chunk following the break right before the end of the season. Good defense by the Vikings, getting the trap. Hansen, front iron. And Ollie Mossman comes away with the rebound, up to Ash Palmer, back to Preston White. About a half-second differential between the shot and the game clock in the first quarter. Preston White going to let it go down to, I would say, about 10 in the shot clock, and then start running the play, as they will do just that right as it reaches 9. Kyler out to Ash from the wing. Good! Ashton Palmer! And the Pleasant Grove Vikings with a 3 right before the end of the quarter. Half-court key from, I'm looking at the wrong roster, Easton Hansen cannot fall. Vikings go into the first quarter break up 5, 11-6. getting ready for the second quarter of action in the first round of the playoffs. Pleasant Grove up 5. Having full control, seemingly, of the first quarter. Preston White down Jackson Brown. Trying to get it to Mossman. Gets it there. Mossman gets it poked from behind, going against Hancock. Spin. Lots of contact from Hancock. Good job finding White. White drives off the glass with the right and in. Preston White puts the Vikings at 13. Fremont down low. Hancock going against Mossman. Tough shot. Hancock off to the left. Air ball. So that is going to be a fun matchup to watch tonight. Ollie Mossman versus Zach Hancock. Experience versus size. Mossman seems to be taller than Hancock by at least 2 inches, maybe even more. Hancock being a senior center. Ollie, I believe, is only a junior. As turnover Vikings, one issue that needs to be trimmed down by both sides, the incredible amount of turnovers in the first quarter from simple ball security issues. Ash gets the screen from Mossman. Gets it to Christensen. Christensen trying to find Mossman down low. Gets it to White. Preston gets the screen from Mossman, decides not to use it, finds him after the roll. Out, Jackson from the wing. No good, back iron. Zach Hancock came away with it, quickly found Court Duft. Duft against Palmer, down low to Campbell, guarded by Brown. Reach in foul there, going to go against Jackson Brown. The first Vikings foul of not only the quarter, the entire night. They played a full 8 minutes without recording a single foul. Jackson Brown picking up the first, as in will come, I believe it was Milo Johansson and Brennan Blackett, replacing Deacon Christensen and Ashton Palmer. Fremont finds Court Duft. Down low, Zach Hancock. Out open 3 for the Silver Wolves. Can't find it. Mossman, great rebound. That shot coming off of Crew Hannum probably. Mossman, it's big bump, no call. Milo in the corner, good! Milo Johansson is on fire tonight, hitting the 3. Puts the Vikings up by 10. Mossman getting the assist. Duft against Johansson. Down low, Hancock against Mossman. Back out. Duft against Blackett. Not a good matchup for Duft in that situation. Got a whole lot worse, and Duft traveled. He went from being guarded by the 6'7" Brennan Blackett. I need to double check that that's right. Yes, the 6'7" Brennan Blackett. Then he drove right into the 6'8" Ollie Mossman. That went from a not great situation to a downright bad situation for Duft. Got stuck between 2 walls as Hancock. Mossman, great find of Jackson Brown off the glass. Jackson with the bucket. Hanson bringing it down the court. Hancock thought about the 3. Back to Hanson. Kick out on the wing. Off the glass and out. Milo Johansson came away with it. Calvin Cooper on the shot. Preston, great drive. Great ball move. Couldn't finish at the rim. Timeout Fremont, and Preston White on the great move. He took the ball away from the Silver Wolves. Couldn't finish at the rim. That was unbelievable. It was too simple. It's like those lowlights of NBA players missing it off of the backboard. Just not what you would typically expect from Preston White. It's most likely a one-time issue for White. Vikings up 12, 4:52 remaining in the second quarter. seemingly well on their way to a first-round victory and a third battle with Orem this season. Orem, of course, being a region opponent. Pleasant Grove played them twice this year. They played them once here in Valhalla, winning that matchup by a single point. And then I believe it was 2 weeks later playing in Orem, losing by 9. Not the outcome Pleasant Grove wanted. Hopefully they can repeat the first outcome and get the win and then move on to face what would be their second straight region rematch in the Wasatch Wasps. That matchup would be at I believe it would be in the John M. Huntsman Center on the campus of the University of Utah. But for now, all we can do is focus on this matchup. Need to win this one to get to those ones. Wide open 3, back iron, Hansen. Thought about it. Hancock keeps thinking about the 3 when left open. As good move from the Silver Wolves. Vikings wanting to travel, no luck. Back iron, tip from Johansson to Blackett, who loses it out of bounds. And the turnover issues continue for the Vikings. That is at least 4 times where a player has just simply lost it off of his own hand. It's frankly unbelievable. I cannot believe it is happening this frequently. Hopefully it is just some early playoff jitters that will be taken care of as this game progresses. But turnovers are always a thing to watch for, especially when the game is as important as the playoffs are, as Fremont cannot get a bucket. Just missed 2 from 5 feet. Hansen, no good. Hancock with it. Got Mossman in the air and falls. And Fremont doing a little bit of stat padding. Got about 4 or 5 rebounds extra on that possession to come away with the 2 points, cut it back down to 10. White over to Brown, off the screen from Blackett. Whistle, looks like it's going to go against Zeb Wetton. Excuse me, that one's going to go on Luke DeVries. His second foul of the night. The first one on Fremont in the second quarter. Preston White gets it into Ollie Mossman. Ends up back with Preston White. Out Milo. Almost took the 3. Tough drive Milo. Brennan from the corner. Good! And with that 3, Brennan Blackett puts the Vikings over 20 with a 13-point lead, 21-8. As whistle blows, that one's going to go against Milo Johansson. The first one on Milo, second team foul on the Vikings. Excuse me. Luke DeVries gets it into Zach Hancock, and then immediately to Easton Hansen. Silver Wolves working it around. Hancock goes at Mossman. Mossman did a good job not letting Hancock get to his spot in the post. Fremont. Vikings doing a great job on defense, forcing Fremont to reset. Hancock from 3. No good. Back iron. Blackett out to Johansson. Drives into the double team. Mossman to White. White drives. Double team comes. And a whistle blows. Foul on the ground. That one's going to go against Luke DeVries, his 3rd. And quickly, he is in some foul trouble. Fremont and the Vikings even at 2 fouls apiece. Preston into Mossman. Blackett down to White. Almost lost it out of bounds. Good job recovering. Tough shot. Preston White with a good drive from the baseline. Get you another look at that. Preston did a good job utilizing the screen from Ollie Mossman and then faking his guy out on the baseline. Really just a good shot from Preston, getting it off the glass. As Hancock's shot too hard off of the backboard. White in and out, spin, kick to Brown. To Johansson, that ball is covered in grease or something. Jackson Brown keeps almost losing it. Preston trying to set up the offense. Mossman getting small bumps from Zach Hancock. It's that ball out of bounds off of Ollie Mossman. As a whistle blows, looked like it was going to be a foul. Kyler Gents checking in for Brennan Blackett as Pleasant Grove head coach Carson Williams visibly upset about the call. I don't have a good enough angle on it to share any opinion. As Court Duft ends up on Jackson Brown, gets it to Hanson. Hanson's three, good! Easton Hanson puts Fremont over 10, cuts it down to 12. White to Mossman. Mossman dribble handoff. Johansson from deep. Couldn't answer. Whistle blows. That foul going to go against Kyler Gents. As Kyler definitely pushed his guy going for the rebound. Cannot do that. As 54 seconds and counting remain in the first half of this matchup. Duft guarded by Johansson. Down to Hancock. Out to Hanson from three. Front iron. Rimmed out. White. 35 seconds to work with. No need to rush. You can dribble it down. Very similar to the end of the first quarter. This time about a 2-second difference between shot and game clock. As Preston set to dribble for about 5 more seconds, guarded by Duft. It's the size matchup you want if you're Preston. Gets the screen from Jackson Brown. Jackson drives, whistle, fouled on the shot. That one looks like it's going to go against Cam Campbell. 5.1 remaining. It's the first foul on Campbell for the night. Jackson Brown at the line, shooting two. First one off the back iron. As Blackett comes in for Mossman. Jackson Brown, take two from the charity stripe. He goes 0 for 2. Hancock, 3 seconds left for the Silver Wolves. Hancock's going to take the half-court heave. Almost found it. Would have had the Fremont fans go crazy, as that will do it for the first half of action in Pleasant Grove. Vikings up 12, 23-11. Looking well on their way to a rematch with Orem. "16 minutes of basketball are all that remain in this first round matchup of the playoffs. Pleasant Grove up 12, 23-11 over the visiting Fremont Silverwolves. The Silverwolves lead scorer tonight, I believe, is Zach Hancock. It might be Court Duft or Easton Hansen, but either way, Pleasant Grove in good control of this game. Milo Johansson poked the ball out and loses it out of bounds. It'll count as a Viking turnover on the stat sheet, but it is just a great defensive hustle play from Milo Johansson, forcing the poke out. Step back Hansen had the three, decides not to take it. Silverwolves, Zach Hancock seems to be the go-to move. Well done, dribble Hancock. 5 seconds on the shot clock. That shot no good. Preston White poked it away, and then Ollie Mossman lost it on his ankle. That'll go out of bounds. Fremont not getting bailed out on that play, but it's not helpful for the Vikings. Corner three, Silverwolves too hard. Put back off the glass and in from Zach Hancock. Or excuse me, that is number 33, Wetton. White down low, Mossman. Good job going up with the left off the glass. The assist going to Preston White. Ollie Mossman with the bucket. Silverwolves. Hansen couldn't get the shot. Shook Brennan Blackett off of him. Now Preston White quickly up to Jackson Brown. Jackson tried with the in and out dribble, excuse me. Ollie down to Brennan. And man, that was an interesting possession for the Vikings. The pass couldn't be completed, but it all ended up, well, Jackson Brown, a good hard drive, finishing through a little bit of contact. Corner three, good. That shot coming from Cam Campbell. Give you another look at that one. Campbell being guarded very tightly by Preston White. As Preston's defense not good enough to stop the Silverwolves, going on a bit of a rally, ending up only down 11. After the Silverwolves three from the corner, I am very pleased to be joined by special guest, the executive producer, I would say, of PGSN, the one and only Mr. Russ Mayo. How are you doing today, Russ?
Well, things are good. It looks like we're a little bit choppy on our feed. Is that our camera or is that our? Interesting. Well, 27-16 is the score. Pleasant Grove in the lead. So the first quarter, the first period, pretty low scoring for both teams. And then the Vikings came alive there at the end and got a little bit of just a match lit underneath them. And it looks like Fremont coming out of halftime, knocking down a three-pointer, getting some open buckets. Looks like a different game right now.
Great play from the Silverwolves. Duft out to Hancock, back to Duft on the drive. Great use of a backdoor cut. Preston White, free throw length shot, answers.
And that's a great play by the Vikings. I think slowing things down, getting the open lane and going after it.
As Preston White, aside from Brennan Blackett, probably the best mid-range shooter on the squad. Duffed from the elbow. Good. And the Vikings and Silverwolves going back and forth now. This is the matchup I expected coming into tonight. Both teams average roughly 15 points per quarter during the regular season. As trying to fix some of the camera issues you mentioned. Viking lead cut down to 9. Down low, Ollie couldn't get the shot through the contact. Got fouled going up. That'll put Ollie Mossman at the line shooting 2.
And like you said, these two teams just kind of slugging back and forth, point trading, and the Vikings now at the charity stripe with an opportunity to move up to 11 points, lead by 11.
As Mossman hits the first, puts it back out to double digits. Fremont doing a pretty good job on the defensive side, not letting the shooters like Kyler Jensen, Brendan Blackett get open from deep. Preston White really being the one to take over, especially recently. Preston White, probably the third best shooter on the team. If I'm being generous to the other two, Preston White is a very good shooter. As Kyler Jensen, Preston White gets the steal. Had the pass down to Brendan Blackett, couldn't collect. Ash from the corner. Back iron as Fremont, got to appreciate the hustle, poked it away from themselves and still tried to point the other way.
I love seeing that that press by the Vikings. It really does put that pressure on Fremont to be able to get that pass, and they're reaping the rewards from it. Hopefully they can get a bucket on this transition.
And Kyler Jentz, very good when the Vikings decide to trap in the corner at staying straight up and not leaving his feet. Preston, dangerous pass taken away by Fremont. Hansen taking it the other way against Palmer. Tough shot off the glass, couldn't go. Jentz pushing the pace. White from the wing. Good! Preston White taking over for the Vikings. He saw the lead slip and said, watch this. Preston White almost single-handedly pushing the lead back out to 14 with a little help from 2 Ollie Mossman free throws. Late whistle against Preston White on Cam Campbell. The senior not afraid to drive and seek a little bit of contact.
And you've got this moment where it's a late call. You see the straight up and down, and I was about to comment, like, that is some great defense, going straight up, letting the contact be drawn, and it looked very clean.
On the far right of your screen, that is Preston White's foot pleading his case with the official, saying, hey, I feel like I was straight up and down. Tell me what you're seeing. Where's the difference coming from?
And I do like the conversation. He's not angry about it. He's just pleading that case. Like, hey, if I do this again, we've got to be on the same page. That is that going to be a foul every single time? Or are you just going to pick it because there's a 13, 14-point lead?
And if he is angry, he's doing a great job not letting the official know. Almost a more important trait.
Right. And, the officiating, every team can talk about how the officiating can go wrong. These officials, they're down there. They're making the call. They can see what we can't see. And it's so easy to call bad officiating, but I like to think these officials, they're doing a great job down there keeping this game running.
That one, an illegal screen on Kyler Jentz going against Court Duft. Great drive. Cam Campbell up with the left and in. Jentz down to Brown. Good drive. Brown reverse layup.
A great use of the body to be able to get in there and just kind of reverse it back up with the right hand on the left side.
As that Silverwolf three, no good. Kyler Jentz with the rebound. Jackson Brown on the last play went with the reverse layup from in front of the rim. As Kyler with his own reverse He said, I see you, Jackson. Fremont takes a timeout. Vikings lead blowing up to 14, 3 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third quarter.
Gents on both sides of the ball. I love the footwork there, being able to open it up all by himself. 38-24, Vikings in the lead.
Following the Silver Wolf timeout, number 11 crew, I believe it's Hannum. And if that's wrong, I don't know how much closer I can get. Fremont doing a great job breaking the Viking press, playing with pace. That whistle going to go against Ash Palmer. Russ had to check out for the night. So it's back to being just me. That's Ash Palmer's first foul of the night. That puts Zach Hancock at the free throw line. First one off the back iron. Maybe it's just this rim. Pleasant Grove also struggled with free throws on this side. And then Ollie Mossman went 2 for 2 on the other end. Hancock goes 0 for 2 as Jackson Brown gets the rebound and then just gets absolutely bodied by Crew Hannum and Cam Campbell. That one going against Campbell. Preston White bringing it over the timeline. It's the screen from Jackson Brown. Hancock did a great job jumping the screen and not letting White get open. Preston drive. Great drive from Preston White. Up with the left and in off the glass. It's almost too easy when you let Preston White get to his spot. Hancock, reverse layup, front iron. That ball out of bounds off of the Vikings. Crew Hannum getting the rebound before getting it poked away by Milo Johansson. As Ollie Mossman checks in for Preston White. Silver Wolves got it in, but it was kicked by Ollie Mossman. So it will stay on this side. It will stay with the Silver Wolves. Fremont down low, Zach Hancock. Gets it up to Campbell. Ultimately ends up with Duft, excuse me. Hanson, dribble handoff to Campbell. Working against Johansson. Drive, gets stuck on the baseline. Hanson, down low to Hancock. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Hancock up and under. Going against Ollie Mossman. Silver Wolves get it to 26. Corner three, Ashton Palmer out. Good fight for the rebound. Milo Johansson, Zach Hancock saved it, got it up to Easton Hanson. That three, good. Give you a replay of that. Hancock from the top of the key with a great three. Ash Palmer in the corner, answers back.
And Ashton Palmer been such a great three-point shooter, learning from his older brother, Ty.
has welcomed Jack Barnard hopping on the headset for hopefully at least the rest of this quarter.
Well, always a pleasure, and I will be here for the rest of the game if I am so allowed. And
Absolutely, we love having Jack on as that shot from Hancock falls off the right side. Palmer, 40 seconds and change remaining. Vikings trying for the
Stolen.
2-for-1. Milo with the steal. Lets the team reset. Milo can dribble this down. I can't do math.
8
second difference. Thank you, Jack. 8 seconds between the shot and the game clock. Vikings can take about 5 more seconds off the clock. Potentially play for the last shot, but 8 seconds is a long time. That is a high-arching shot.
it's true.
Tyler
And wow,
up with the left hand. Fremont with 10 seconds in the quarter.
the skip pass and backdoor cut by Kyler Gents for such an amazing reverse layup.
As Silverwolves 3-2. Hancock
Whoa,
off the
layoff.
backboard at the buzzer.
Full court shot hits the corner of the bleachers.
Milo.
And I wish our camera picked that up. That was quite hilarious.
Don't believe it would have counted anyway, but that would have been quite a shot from Milo Johansson. The baseball throw wasn't anywhere near it, but it had the smallest of chances. As Jack, what is one thing for Fremont that you've noticed they need to work on to really give them a chance to come back down 14?
Yeah, so I'd say, I came in during the first quarter and a 5-point performance from the Silverwolves in the first quarter. Rough start as it was 5-11. Obviously, the Vikings picked up the slack and built a pretty monumental lead going into halftime. And then this third quarter saw a big swing for Fremont, making a big push and cutting the lead down to at least 9. And I've been a little distracted, so wow, I always forget that music drop right there is so loud. But
The fourth quarter hype
Yes.
for Pleasant Grove has the most sudden bass needle drop in the history of sudden bass needle drops. And it goes from a fairly quiet drum beat to just dubstep
yeah,
bass being pumped into the building.
Pleasant Grove's obsession with dubstep will always amaze me, and I love this school, but man, they really do use a lot of it, and it's pretty funny. Yeah, so I'd say Fremont's adjustments that they made at halftime, they just need to execute those and operate in a way that takes advantage of Pleasant Grove playing too fast. Okay, right now it's firing on all cylinders. You see Pleasant Grove passing around as quick as possible, and just that final play, the skip pass to Kyler Gents, that was such an amazing play, but it was fast. And so if Fremont can get those interceptions, then that's how they can win this game. But obviously Pleasant Grove trying to win this here preliminary round of the playoffs so that they can go into the
Orem Tigers.
technical first round, but
This
it's
is the
the
first
second round. Because in 6A, the first game is kind of just a play-in tournament. So
This year there is one play-in 6A game. Winner will face Westlake High School.
Oh, and I'm pretty sure Cedar Valley is in that play-in, so that would be a fun rivalry to go see as Samson Sua is putting in the work.
Great bucket, Brennan Blackett.
Brendan Blackett is the face and future of this team. A couple of people from my neighborhood have come to support Kyler as he is a neighbor of mine. And they were asking me, as a former voice, just kind of like, who is the best player? And I got to say, it's standout Brennan Blackett. Really is so incredibly versatile in many ways. And, he can pick up the slack when the team isn't doing so hot. But I also think that every player really fulfills their role on this team incredibly well.
Especially with the amount of overlap in roles that different players will play. That Fremont 3 off the front iron. Vikings almost hit a second rebound out of bounds. You mentioned Brennan Blackett. Brennan is 6'7", but he can play he can play anywhere from guard to center, and the Vikings use him as such. Then on top of that, you have guys like Milo Johansson, who we just saw, Jackson Brown, as we've mentioned multiple times this game, Preston White, who can all play the point guard role, and just take over and run the team when it's their night. And if it's not, they can settle into like a 2 or 3 role and take the open shot that they get, but focus more on passing. Great ball movement from Court Duft down low to Zach Hancock.
Yeah, and I got to say that, Preston is really good at this ISO ball, being able to take over and take that mid-range shot or three when it's needed. But then Jackson Brown and Milo Johansson both show this excellence in being able to drive and just take it to the bucket.
Fadeaway Brennan hit every part of the rim and fell. Brennan Blackett makes it 18. Yeah, 18. Excuse me. Math is hard when it's big numbers.
An 18-point lead here for...
3 for the Silver Wolves. Almost fell, hit the front iron. Preston increasing the pace. Almost went coast to coast before he slowed down. Out Milo. Thought about the wing three. The drive. Tough shot, Milo. Can't get the and one. It's going to give him 2 shots. As so far this quarter, not as much foul trouble as the first 3, really. I don't know how much you saw, but in the first quarter, Fremont went 5-0 on fouls against the Vikings. And then in the second quarter, the script seemed to flip. It was, I believe, 4-1 Pleasant Grove in fouls. And as of right now, just
tied 3-3. Or sorry, that's
timeout. So it's 1-0 Fremont.
Yeah. So you got to really. It's hard to say about Fremont. Their only way to win is to start dropping their buckets.
Yeah.
And it's
at the same time, you need to get stops on the other end.
Right.
And
it's
limit
hard
the amount of rebounds Pleasant Grove can get.
Yeah, and it's hard to just be like, well, just hit your shots. It's rough. And Brendan Blackett is really
Euro step. Brennan Blackett.
He's 1 bucket away from takeover mode. In my opinion, and he is really putting in this work today.
Blocked by Jackson Brown
from behind. Absolutely incredible. It takes an immense amount of skill to be able to block from behind without a foul.
I believe that was on Cam Campbell.
It's actually one of the most common calls to get a block from behind as your foul.
Fremont, dangerous pass, tipped away by Milo Johansson, who tripped. Hansen with the shot, good.
And that's what they need. They need 1 shot to drop after that. And you see Pleasant Grove's kind of doing what I was saying that Fremont needs to do, and intercepting and putting the pressure down on these passes that they're doing.
As Ollie Mossman missed his shot, got his own rebound, put his own shot back and got it. Slight stat pad from Ollie Mossman. 5 minutes left in this game. Wing 3, Hancock falls. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
Looks like a football player, probably is. I'm not sure how Fremont did in football this year, but
Milo off the front iron on the answer. Jackson, good job walling up. Better shot, Easton Hansen. We talk about takeover mode. Hansen and Hancock have both taken it over for Fremont.
And if that's what it takes, that's what they need. They cut it down to 16, and you got to take. The only way to cut down a large lead is 1 point at a time. And so it seems a little silly to be like down to 16, but that's what they need. And see, you force Pleasant Grove into taking shots like that, and you go down and put in a quick layup like that, and now it's a 14-point deficit. And that is no shame against Preston White. That was honestly a good shot.
Yeah.
It was a good shot, open lane to drive in. He was just accelerating so quick that sometimes it doesn't go your way. Timeout, Pleasant Grove.
Carson Williams using his 3rd timeout of the game. As one thing for Fremont, you need your role players to start stepping up a little. Easton Hansen and Zach Hancock lead the team in just about every offensive stat. Easton Hansen averages about 17 points a game, and Easton averages, I believe it was 15 and a half, with everybody else below 10. You need your guys to step up. It's weird to say only down 14, but that's 5 scores.
Exactly, and that's with 3. So I was going to say with 3s it's less, but
it's 7 if you go pure layups. It's 5 with pure 3s.
And that when you get a mix, that's really going to be your effective field goal percentage. And I think that Fremont, it really becomes a streak. Basketball it can be so streaky, and it's all about runs.
Can you put together a string of 5 threes to give yourself, in this case, a 1-point lead? And honestly, the bigger question seems to be, can you get 5 stops
Right.
on Pleasant Grove?
And I think in Pleasant Grove, in order to win this game, they need to go on a small run. It does not take that much to put this game away, in my opinion.
Need a quick hot streak
If you
from
hit,
either Jackson, Brennan, or Preston, and this game was essentially on ice.
they got Ashton in it as well, so another great three-point shooter. And you get 3 in and 3 stops, or 3 in with 1 layup, and you built yourself a 20-point lead. So that's what you really need, what they really need right now.
As quick note, Kyler Jentz prior to this game told me it would be a 16-point game. He seems to be pretty good at guessing, or he needs to go buy a lottery ticket of some kind, because that is his lucky
Drive up
day.
to Idaho, I guess,
Yeah.
in order to get that done. And so far he's pretty accurate. It's still 3:30 to play, 3:29 to be specific, but a lot can happen in that time. We've seen some absolutely insane things. If you remember the girls' game versus Wasatch, most unreal ending I've ever watched in my life.
I called it at the time, and I will still refer to it now. The most front yard driveway basketball moment I've ever witnessed in a regulation game.
Right.
As White over to Blackett.
And that gave the girls' team a perfect season. So
Yeah, that was the closest any teams come to knocking off the quick plug 1 seed Pleasant Grove Lady Vikings.
who will play tomorrow versus
Springville.
No. Hillcrest, something like
Bonneville.
that.
It's Bonneville.
The Lakers.
Yep.
Yes. So
As also quick note, we did finish the mini documentary that Boston Harding referenced in the Spanish Fork broadcast. For those that watched that game, we will be putting it out either later tonight or early tomorrow morning, as well as I believe we're planning on playing small clips during the game. Don't quote me on that though, but either way, tune into the PGSN YouTube and Instagram for that mini documentary. It has been a true labor of love. I've put so much time and effort into that video. I've stayed up till midnight for like 4 days in a row working on it.
there you go.
As back to this game, lost his footing.
Yeah, losing control there and just trying to speed up the game. They're playing hurry up,
Court duffed.
lack of better term, they're trying to score as quick as possible with every possession.
If you're Fremont, do you, and at what point do you consider intentional fouls to try to force try to force empty possessions for the Vikings?
1 minute to 45 seconds left, and we really have seen free throws kill this Vikings team before. Earlier in the season.
Great pass. Preston White got blocked by Crew Hannum. And then
Stolen.
Ash Palmer gets the steal.
With a lazy bounce pass, and that is the opposite of what Fremont needs, and now is probably the time to start thinking we are going to start fouling intentionally. So, keep our foul count on every player that you need. You got Hansen that.
If I'm Fremont, I would foul now while Kyler has the ball. Nothing against Kyler. I believe he's statistically, of the 5 on the court, the worst free throw shooter. Maybe Ash Palmer.
And it's also a big moment, You've seen when
Palmer.
it comes down to it. And Brendan Blackett's missed 3 in a row. Kyler Jentz has missed 5 in a row. It's happened right at the end of the game. And so
Kyler Jentz in overtime, down by 6 against Springville, missed 5 consecutive free throws. And Pleasant Grove would go on to lose that game.
And that's why I think Pleasant Grove is such a dark horse to win the championship in 5A, is because a lot of their losses are one possession or it came from missed free throws, and it's just...
Or were overtime losses.
Yeah, right? And so it feels to me like it really can they really can make a run. And if Timview can, if they can get knocked off before Pleasant Grove would have to play them, which is, I believe, after the Orem game.
It's after it would be in the semifinals after the Wasatch game.
Right.
If Pleasant Grove wins this game, they play at Orem on Friday,
And then it will be
should they win that game, they play Wasatch at the Huntsman Center on Monday.
And then it would be against Timview if Timview is still in.
It would be Timview on Thursday.
And so, bar everything happening there, Timview would have to lose because that is really the only team I can see verbatim winning that game.
As Adley Ingalls checked into the game, I didn't notice that the one of 6 seniors on this roster, this being the last game that will be played in Valhalla this season. 26 seconds left in the game. Down low, Milo out to Adley.
Maybe you could shoot a three real quick.
I was about to say, if I'm Adley Ingalls in that situation, I'm letting it rip regardless of the score.
You got 9 seconds, and they're not fouling intentionally because it's not worth it.
And Jackson's just going to take the shot clock violation.
And that is the gentleman's respectable way to have the possession change.
As in will come Brennan Turley, one of the last remaining seniors to not play in this game, replacing Preston White. 4 seconds left. Pleasant Grove will take this one. Deep three. No good, and that will do it. Pleasant Grove wins the first round of the 2026 5A Utah High School Athletics Association State Championship Playoff. Try saying that more than once.
There you go. Pleasant Grove gets their first playoff win since 2023 against Clearfield here in Valhalla before going on to lose to Lone Peak 63-66.
As they will look to avoid that same outcome on Friday at Orem. Until then, my name is Coleman Keel. I will see you all tomorrow for our coverage of the girls matchup versus Bonneville. That will also be at 7 p.m. here at Valhalla. Jack, do you have anything else to add?
I think this is a great moment for the players. Get a statement win. Be like, you come in, you beat this team that was lower than you in the standings and, had only 9 wins on the season. But you come in and you win this game by this much, even with, hardly any Pleasant Grove fans showing up. Come on, students. I would say lock in a little bit, especially for the girls' game tomorrow. I think this is a great moment for these boys. They're such a great team, and getting to know them over the last couple of years, there's a couple players I don't know because being graduated, but it really is great to see. And I'm excited to see what they do on Friday in Orem. I think they can go in and win. They got a solid win against them earlier in the season.
As great show of sportsmanship from Coach Carson Williams, thanking Fremont for traveling all this way, playing against the Vikings.
Yeah, on a snowy day, the only snowy day in Utah this year, pretty much. So it was great showing from Fremont. Lots of parents, some students, decent showing from the Vikings. So it's great to see. But that's pretty much all I have to say. Look forward to the game on Friday, and even more, look forward to the game tomorrow here in Valhalla.
As one last note for the boys team, during the season they went 1-1 against Orem and dropped their only contest to Wasatch. Those are the next 2 opponents on the list. Can Pleasant Grove right the ship from last time, find a way to beat Orem at Orem?
I bet they will.
There's a chance. I don't know. Orem is a very talented team.
And not to play, well, I guess not devil's advocate, but not to be a contrarian, but Pleasant Grove is also a very talented team. You can see, and Brennan transferred from Orem 2 years ago, so it's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know how much they really care about that, but kind of fun to always see a player that transferred due to moving play. Pleasant Grove fans in my grade never let Austin Simon hear the end of it after he transferred to Lone Peak. And so, but yeah. And also I'd say that the loss in Wasatch, their gym, That was one weird gym. I'd say the baskets looked like they were 15 feet tall, and the players have said that too. I'd say that they could come out running and have their first appearance in the Huntsman Center since 2022.
Especially in that Wasatch game, will be in the Huntsman Center. Can that make as much of a difference as people think it does, the college court environment? But we will have to play Orem first and find out. We will
That would
see
be
you.
an interesting game. So.
We will see you on Friday. Until then, my name is Coleman Keel. I've been joined in the fourth quarter by
Jack Barnard.
and we will see you next time here on PGSN.